Rennsport just announced a new entry into the world of Simracing Esports, the ESL R1. 500,000 euro of prize money, many well-known teams, and a mission to turn the scene on its head. And I think this tournament could be very decisive when it comes to the future of sim racing as an esports. Because let's be honest guys, sim racing has a massive problem. And with that, welcome back to Overtake.gg. My name is ChampionJoe, and today we have to talk about this new format that came out, the ESL R1, powered by the ESL and Rennsport. It was just announced today, and it's really the most exciting news in esports since 2020 and the F1 esports hype we had then in the pandemic. I know not a lot of you guys are really interested into esports, and I don't watch a lot of esports races myself, but this one could be potentially something that finally gets esports right instead of just copying what motorsports is doing. So let's have a look at the format first and what we learned from the trailer and stuff like that, and afterwards talk about why I think that sim racing has a massive problem and how the ESL R1 could fix that problem. So as we can see, the ESL R1, it's gonna be a bigger tournament, 500,000 euros of prize money. That's a lot of money if you ask me. I think the most prize money we ever had was 1 million with the Formula E Championship, which was a lot of money, but 500,000 for 1 year of racing sounds superb. 48 drivers, which are split up in different teams. There will be 12 teams overall, 4 drivers per team, and that's a lot of drivers, with the final only hosting half of them, so 24 drivers will move on into the final stage of the tournament at the end. But let's have a look at it first. It will kick off at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice in Poland, which is exciting. Yeah, a big stage to introduce this new format of sim racing, and I really hope for Rennsport that they do it right from the get-go. But other than this first big main event, and the final being on the next Rennsport Summit in May, the biggest news on this are the teams that are participating. Let's have a look. FaZe Clan, G2 Esports is in there, Team Redline, Mouse, Porsche Coanda, and also Mercedes, BMW and Williams taking part. So a lot of bigger names that are well known, basically the biggest names there are, and the best and most well-known drivers overall competing in this tournament. Also quite interesting to see, let's cue the trailer. They revealed Spa-Francorchamps, which I didn't knew of. I know of another track that most likely will be part of this tournament, the ESL R1, but is still pending. So Spa-Francorchamps, new announcement, and they also showcased the Mercedes AMG GT3, and it's looking good. I think if you freeze frame here and there, still the graphics are a bit rough around the edges, but it's still in alpha state. There is no beta right now for you publicly. I have it installed on my PC, and I can say it still feels rough and it's unfinished. So I still have some worries about this tournament as well, that it can fulfill or live up to the expectations, because we still have to not step fully on the throttle, but maybe brake a bit, because the game is unfinished. It's not ready yet maybe for this big stage, and I really hope that everything runs smoothly like it did on the Rennsport Summit, where everything went perfectly fine, thinking about them still being in an alpha state. So on a technical standpoint, there are some worries, but I hope that it will work out, because sim racing does have a massive problem right now, especially the esports side, which needs a new title. The big problem in sim racing is that all of our games are getting older and older and older. iRacing is from 2008. We have R-Factor 2, which is ancient. We have Assetto Corsa, which is ancient. Yes, we have Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is a newer title, but it only features GT3 racing. And on the big stage, it didn't perform as hoped, because it's mimicking motorsports so closely that the whole benefits that esports or sim racing as a whole can offer sometimes come a bit short. And with the games getting older and older and older, of course there are some other problems as well. Our esports tournaments are crumbling at the moment. Just have a look at the recent events that stayed in memory. We had the iRacing Spa 24 hours, which was a disaster with driving over grass to cool down the tires. That was a whole nother story. Really shameful in my eyes and painful to watch as well as an esports enthusiast. And then starting this year, two of the biggest events of the year, and both had their flaws. One, of course, the Le Mans Virtual, where the IP address of the server was publicly available and everybody could see it, and of course it was attacked, which is just, how can that even happen in 2023? And then of course there was just recently the Daytona 24, where the pole lap in the first split was set while cheating. Williams Esports did a thing there and they exploited the track limits to gain an advantage, not even showing the actual lap, the qualifying lap, the final qualifying lap, and they weren't showing it on stream because they knew they were cheating. Is that really how sportsmanship should look like? I don't know. It's a really big topic, a really big controversy at the moment, and if you have an opinion on that whole topic, let us know in the comments down below how you feel and what you are looking most forward to in this series. And before I close up this opinion video, let's have an outlook into the future, because I think we can be quite hopeful when it comes to this big problem we have in sim racing with the aging of our main titles like iRacing, rFactor 2, etc. Think about how long it takes to develop a good video game.
2 + 2 is 4, -1, that's 3, quick maths.
Most good video games are developed in like a 3 to 4 year time span. Our biggest boom in sim racing we have ever seen was in 2020 with the pandemic and the rise of the F1 esports series, which is struggling as well because the new F1 games are sadly not as good as in the previous years. But never mind. What I'm trying to say is that in 2020 we had our biggest boom, and that triggered new studios to enter the market and to start developing new games. This is 3 years down the line now, or almost 3 years. So if my calculations are correct, we should see some really exciting games this next year and the year after 2025. And what names are in the pipeline? Rennsport and Assetto Corsa 2. Maybe those two games can really deliver what we are looking for in a modern sim racing esports title. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below how you see this whole topic, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew here on Overtake, and maybe watch this video from Marvin, where he was talking about what he expects from 2023 in sim racing and racing games as a whole. But thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time around. Cheers.